Hi, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to learn about solarizing your home or business, what the costs and benefits are to solarizing your property. We are Solarize Delco. We're a 501c3 located right here in Delaware County to help our neighbors learn about solar, learn the benefits, and make good decisions for themselves. So the basics of solar is we have the sun, which is our energy source. It shines on the panels, which would be installed on your property, typically on your roof. And then that feeds into what we call an inverter, which conditions and prepares the energy for use. And that use could be storing it in a battery, DC, or distributing it via AC, which is what we use in our house or on the electric grid. And by using Pico as your grid, they have this great feature called net metering. And what net metering is when you have a sunny day and you're using more energy than you need, extra energy gets put back onto the grid. And Pico Energy, they keep a tab of that, and that's a running tab. And when you take from it, say at night or on a cloudy day, it decrements from the tab that you've kept with them from the sunny days when you put extra to the grid. So effectively, Pico or your utility is acting as a big battery that you have the puts and takes, and they keep this running tab so that you, as a user, can understand where you stand and use the energy that you produce at the cost that you produce it at. It's a great benefit. Once a year, Pico will true it up. So if you have a balance in May, which is when they currently do it, they will pay you for any energy that you've produced that you did not use. So if you produce more than you used from May to May, they will pay you for that in the May bill, and you'll start back at zero. So there are lots of benefits to solar. The first I want to talk about is you reduce your environmental impact. Depending on how much space you have on your roof and how much sun you get, you could reduce, really eliminate all of your carbon emissions for electricity by producing it right on your roof. There's also a really good return on investment. So you can fix the price of your electricity use over the life of the panels, which is typically more than 25 years, say 30 years. This is a really good inflation hedge. It fights inflation. So fixing your price at a cost that's much lower than what's available from the utility is a great inflation hedge. There's also a value. The value is the reduced energy bill, but also you get the solar renewable energy credits, the SRECs that come back for every 1,000 kilowatt of energy that you use, you get paid for that value. And again, that's a legislation that's put in place so that a certain amount of the grid energy is solar energy. And then there's a 30% tax credit, and that's paid when you file your taxes the year I guess the filing after you install your panels, you'll get 30% back as a credit. Commercial may get more depending on availability for incentives from Pico Energy as well. There's virtually no maintenance for solar, which is great. The rain cleans them off, and there's really low or no risk if you don't know if you're going to live in your property past the payoff point for the investment, because the home value typically increases by at least the cost of the panels themselves. So really low risk for the finances. And then of course resiliency. If you do get a battery, you get to stay on when the grid goes down. So we look at your home or business and the property to see if it's suitable for rooftop solar. You're going to look at the shading and kind of the configuration of the roof itself. Is it facing south or southish? Southwest sometimes is really well as well. Or if you have a flat roof, which generally can take the sun from any angle. We'll ask how old the roof is. You don't want to put solar on a roof that is, let's say, more than 10 years old. And then we look at Project Sunroof by Google, which does a really good high-level estimation for the solar irradiation that is falling on your house, or the solar potential, let's say, that hits your roof on a sunny day. Solar panels typically last, like I said, 30 years, but they don't have full production at 30 years. Typically, they degrade to about 85% of their new performance after 30 years. So it's a year on year, very, very slight degradation in the output, typically less than a half to a quarter of 1% per year. The recommended installers that we have in our program have 25-year warranty on the panels and the microinverters, which really means you're kind of worry-free for those 25 years in terms of the equipment. And like I said, on tilted panels like you see here, there's no maintenance. The rain will wash any dust off of them. So a typical project, what does it cost? I don't know if it's a typical project, but it depends on the size of your system, how much electricity you use, and how much roof location you have that gets sunshine. Those two factors will determine how big of a system you'll get. So for this example, it's a 6.37 kilowatt system, which would produce somewhere around 7,600 kilowatts per year. That might cost somewhere between 17 and 20. I have a range because every situation is a little different. So there's a range. And then after tax incentives, the net cost comes out to be about 12 to 15,000. But after 25 years, that's going to net save you as a resident 23 to $26,000 money into your pocket. Again, you're fixing the cost of your electricity at the lowest cost possible. Loans are an option too. There's no money up front, but your savings go down. As you'll see here, the green line is a cash project. You get your cash flow positive typically between 8 and 10 years. If you have to pay financing costs for the capital, it will extend the payback period. But still, you are getting a lower cost of energy and controlling that cost from rising. So the hedge on inflation. So how does the process work? Well, we do an initial assessment of your solar potential. We'll look at your PICO bill for the year, and we'll look at how much solar you get. And if you're interested at that point and you feel like you want to learn more and see if you want to go, we'll connect you with one of our vetted participating installers who will then evaluate your roof and give you a formal proposal. And if you sign the agreement with them, again, there's no cost to get the proposal, no commitment at that point. But if you do commit and sign, the installer does all the work. They'll get the grid connection, the permits, the installs, and schedule all the inspections. And you just start getting electricity from the sun. Fixed or low income, we also have a program for that. We partner with the Community Action Agency of Delaware County. They'll do the vetting for the eligibility. We don't really want to get into those type of personal details. So we let this professional organization do that. And if you qualify, we do have grants that are here until the funds run out. So yeah, reach out with us on that if you have that opportunity. The installation is typically done in 1 to 3 days. In this picture here, you see that each individual panel has its own inverter. That's called a microinverter. And they also provide a detailed level of monitoring that you get, which is kind of fun. You get to see by panel and minute to minute or month to month how much you produce year over year. The battery is an option for folks that want more reliability. If the grid isn't reliable, you can get a battery. And the caveat on this is if the grid goes down and you don't have a battery and you have solar, you will go down. You do need a battery to run while the grid is down. So it should be considered in your mind as, would I get a generator? How often does the grid go down? And that's when you want to consider that. And if you do go for a battery, there's another kind of advantage to reduce your pricing as well. It's called time of use pricing. So basically, there's a peak period from 2 to 6 on weekdays that PECO will charge a very high rate, and in return, you get very low rates for the off-peak and super off-peak, and you can run the house on the battery from 2 to 6 every day. Nice feature. If you're interested in that, we can get into more detail in the console. So we're here to help. If you own your property, get your power bill, and contact us. You can go to our website at solarizedelco.org, or you can email us at solarizedelco@gmail.com. Not in Delco, there's one in Philly, there's one in Southeast Pennsylvania, and you can go to those orgs to help you as well. So we're neighbors helping neighbors to ensure a clean energy future. We're all volunteers, we know solar, and we're here to help. Thanks, have a great day.